You feel good? What's your favorite food that you're eating?
That's a hard
What
one.
are you eating right now?
Grilled cheese.
Oh yeah? How is it? Is it good?
Yes.
Are you excited to go home?
Yes.
Okay, say I love you, everyone.
I love you, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.
A year ago, one of Trish and Winston's friends came to me and said, would you do a mural for Clara? And I didn't think Underhill was appropriate, and I said, well, it's something permanent. So I said, where does she go to school? So PS9. So Winston and I met with Miss D'Avilar last January, shortly after my mother passed of lung cancer, so it was an emotional time. But Miss D is an amazing woman and visionary, and she said, have this whole garden for little Clara. So I curated this with my friends Justin and a bunch of other people who sensitively did something special. It was an emotional ride. She was with us. Again, the sunbeams were coming down. She was watching over us. I didn't know her that well. I only knew her from the family. And what she loved was rainbows and kittens and artwork, and her sister so much. But what it led to was this whole entire steam mural project. And I'm blessed to know if it wasn't for Miss D, Carol, I don't know where you are, and Vivian, who runs the garden, and school safety and the custodians, this all couldn't have been possible. It was a labor of love, and it is a legacy to Clara because she will be with us for decades. It's a sad thing, but art is important, and you said it best. It's more important than textbooks. You know, the children need to see the art. But Clara is always in my heart. I've cried all summer long. She pushed me till 7:30 last night painting the surrounds. She was with me, even with a bad back. The loss of a child is hard. She will always be beautiful. She will always be young. And she's in our hearts. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff, so much.
When we first talked to Jeff, it was so fun. It was so we sort of sent him some images and pictures. They're like, "Yep, we got it." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna see some sketches, maybe." And I'm like, "Oh God!" And I thought, "What have we gotten ourselves into?" Miss D'Avilar, we haven't, what if we don't like it? The school doesn't like it. I mean, shouldn't people review it? And Jeff kept saying, "Trust us," and oh my God, we had nothing to worry about. I mean, it's just beyond expectations. And I also just want to thank Vivian for really pushing the garden, for really
Yes, thank you, Vivian.
Please. And Carol and
also in the garden committee.
Regarding
Absolutely, the intent
everybody.
was for me to always get more involved, and I did do that. And I dropped the ball many times, but in fact, even this morning, I wanted to bring a plant that we would plant, and it's not here. So, but this, so many people have helped make Clara's Garden what it is, and we really thank you all so much. Love you. Thank you.
You are welcome. And we miss you guys.
I'm doing fine.
And what do you want to do after this?
I want to go to the carousel.
Okay, let's go.
Craniopharyngioma is a benign, slow-growing brain tumor that most often affects children between the ages of 5 to 14, but can affect kids of any age. The tumor can vary in size and shape, with some areas that are solid and some areas that are cystic or filled with fluid. The tumor does not spread to other parts of the body, but is an issue because it grows within the confined space of the skull, pressing on important nearby structures and causing a range of problems. The location of a craniopharyngioma is always within the cellar or suprasellar region of the skull, located right behind the eyes. Suprasellar refers to the space above the sellar area. This region houses important structures of the brain which become compressed by the tumor depending on the way it grows. The main structure affected is the pituitary gland and stalk, which are integral to hormone production. If the tumor originates near the lower end of the pituitary stalk, it may remain in the sellar region and will press against the pituitary gland and may result in stunted growth, delayed puberty, as well as excessive thirst and urination. If the tumor originates closer to the top of the pituitary stalk, it has a tendency to grow within the suprasellar region of the brain. This can result in compression of the optic chiasm, optic nerves, and hypothalamus. In addition to the symptoms already mentioned, a tumor compressing these structures may result in tunnel vision, loss of visual clarity, weight gain, sleep and memory problems, and fatigue. Craniopharyngiomas can also form or grow up higher into the suprasellar space and cause a blockage in the third ventricle, a cavity in the brain that helps circulate cerebral spinal fluid. This type of blockage may lead to a buildup of fluid within the other ventricles of the brain, causing symptoms of headache, nausea, vomiting, confusion, and drowsiness. In many cases, a tumor that originates near the midpoint of the pituitary stalk will grow into structures of both the sellar and suprasellar regions. The initial treatment for craniopharyngioma depends on the location, consistency, and size of the tumor, but almost always includes surgery. Traditional open surgery is when a piece of the skull is temporarily removed to access the brain. The various entry points for open surgery are shown here. During minimally invasive surgery, an endoscope is inserted through the nose to access and remove the tumor.
My name is Jeff Enriquez. I'm a full-time artist. My friend Jeff Beler asked me to come and paint this wall for PS9 and asked me what was I going to paint on it. I gave it some thought, and I wanted to do something that was going to transcend the meaning of the flat surface of what a mural is. So what I decided to do was create a juxtaposition with the concept of high art and street art and graffiti. So this piece I created for the grown-ups. I knew that with the references that I was making, that the adults would grasp it more quickly and could have some kind of vested ownership in the artwork that's at the school. So if we look around, we see all these beautiful colors, all these vibrant images, and then we have something that kind of reminds you of your morning coffee, right? So when I put Picasso's artwork and graffiti in this traditional sense in the same environment, I think what that did is create a really nice juxtaposition for those two art forms and put them in their proper place.
Tell me when you're done, okay?
How long have you been at PS9?
I have been here for 21 years. I live a few blocks away, And all 3 of my children went through PS9, graduated.
What's been the best experience about this one?
The best part of the mural project is changing the face of a school that was beautiful on the inside to one that looks beautiful on the outside as well. This art really embraces us and hugs us and makes us feel so warm and comforted as we are in our space inside, and as we approach, as we leave, we always feel as though we have this amazing family that's here taking care of us, keeping us warm, keeping us happy, giving us hope.
Also, this particular mural made Jensen is the first African-American woman in space. How important is that to you and your children to know?
There is so much in education that is left out. There's a lot that is put in. It's important to have education that's relevant, that makes sense to children, that can reach out to them and speak to who they are currently and who they would like to be like in the future. So having this amazing role model along with so many others is amazing for young black females, for young white females, for black males and other nationalities and races, to just know that we are so diverse. Our community, our country is really diverse, and all is possible for any of them, these young ones.
Well, it's a beacon school like this is right?
Yeah, we're a school who really focus on the whole child. We want to make sure that they have art and science and technology and all this amazing stuff, but it has to... Yeah, technology is used for you to learn. And so we have a lot of technology inside, and the art speaks to a lot of our technology. It talks about scientists. It talks about astronauts. It talks about gardening. It talks about love.
Hello, my name is Marco Santini, and I'm an artist from New York City. I was very excited to be part of this project. I first heard about Clara's garden actually online, and to think that from such a tragedy, something beautiful could happen from it is really wonderful. It's really a testament to Jeff Beler, the curator here, who has been able to transform this neighborhood and really this school. But I first heard about PS9 when I was on Instagram searching and saw some of my friends who were painting this awesome school in Brooklyn, and I reached out and I just messaged Jeff to say thank you for what he's doing for the community. And it really means a lot to me that our friendship started from a place of positivity. This project is especially meaningful to me because I mentor middle school and high school students, so to give back in terms of my art for a school was really meaningful. I studied linguistic anthropology at Brown University and was always fascinated by languages, but not just how we spoke with languages, but how we speak with colors, emotions, and everything in between. And so one night, I was actually really curious about the most popular languages in the world and learned through Google that 1.3 billion people around the world speak Chinese, second to which is Spanish, with about 440 million native speakers around the world. And English only comes in at third, with about 375 million people. And I was putting all these thoughts and sketching these ideas together in my notebook and thought about putting them into a heart. And in one night, in one fell swoop, I put this logo together, which I'm calling my One Love logo, that features the word love in over 40 different languages together in one piece. And despite how different all the languages may be in sound, together they have this shared meaning, which I find really powerful. To me, it symbolizes that there's more that unites us than divides us as a human race. And particularly for this mural, I wanted to make it special to Prospect Heights. And I actually looked at the most popular languages in the area and made sure that they were incorporated in this design.
That is like the fakest cry ever. No, come. sound? Mommy and the tissue poop.
My name is Sandra D'Avilar. I am the instructional leader here at Public School 9 in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn. I've been the principal for 14 years and I've been an administrator for the past 16 years in this building.
Clara had passed last October. You felt it was important to give us some public space on your school walls, and what has it done for the community and the children?
Okay, so our beautiful Clara, who we now consider to be a guardian angel over all of us, she passed last October, and it was a very, very dark and bleak time in all of our lives. And we saw fit to utilize her memory and to memorialize her utilizing a garden that is located around the school. We used an artist who then created an awesome garden in her memory. And when we looked at the outcome of the garden for Clara, we decided to use the artist to help us rebrand our school to show that we are now a STEAM school. So if you walk around the entire circumference of our school, you will see a STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. It is all around our entire school. It has brought many people around the neighborhood to see the phenomenal artwork, which was done by 75 artists. It has brought excitement to our children, and it also says to the entire world that PS9 is adding rigor to all that we do for our children.
My name is Jeff Beler. I'm a curator in Prospect Heights. This is PS9 where we're standing right now. I curate a project called Underhill Walls up the street, and last year I met some parents who lost a little girl named Clara. She was 6 years old and she died of brain cancer. So they had asked if I would do something here. So we met with the principal and we started on the St. Mark's side, and I had 10 artists sensitively curate or paint murals that would relate to the children. Claire loved artwork and rainbows and kittens and colorful things, nature and birds. And so that took a month, and that was just a donation from the artist and myself. And one of the parents, Mike Tilley, said, we want some more murals to, maybe fill up the playground. So within 2 weeks, we had the project called STEAM Mural Project, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. And we started and we created some magic, I think. It was not always easy, but we have 75 artists total on all sides of the school. I had worked with a lot of the artists before. Some were new and some reached out to me on Instagram. But it was a very positive experience. There was times it was very emotional. I didn't think I could do it. I sometimes resented it because it was so much work, but we managed to pull it off, and we finished in September. And the children and the neighborhood has really responded to all the colorful things they see on a daily basis. I think art is so important, just as much as textbooks. It really is something that public art, a lot of people are intimidated by going to a museum or paying for art. So when you've got public art, it stimulates your mind. It challenges you. It's thought-provoking. It creates an emotion. I think there's enough art here in different forms that each of the students can relate to something that they see on a daily basis. Due to this, we've gotten offers from other schools and other districts to do the same thing. The principals have really reacted to the positivity of what this can do. So we've got 8 schools lined up for next year, 2019. I'm very humbled by this. It was, I've gotten a lot of attention, and it was difficult in the beginning because you know, a little girl had passed, and I felt guilty. And then one of my friends said, you paid tribute to this young lady that will be a legacy to her and to the school. So that I'm proud of. But being humble and just getting to know the artists that I thought I knew and the new artists that I got to work with has changed my life. Miss D'Avilar, Carol, the school safety, the custodians, all the teachers have been so supportive, and it really couldn't have been pulled off without their help. It looks easy, it looks fun, it's not always fun and easy. Weather challenges was one of the main things with the heat and the thunderstorms, and just being flexible to you know, make this happen. But I'm blessed. I live a few blocks away, so that was another factor in having this happen so smoothly. If it was in another area or the Bronx, it might have been a different challenge for the artist and myself. But we all pulled it off, and the kids have really reacted to it. So I'm, no matter what, I have this on my resume, and it's been humbling and something that I can look back on and be proud of.
Hi, my name is Ralph Serrano. I'm a New York-based artist. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I've been working in New York for the past few years. I met Jeff Beler in the art scene, and he extended an invitation to paint an Underhill murals project, which was a lot of fun, and I'm proud to be part of. And then from that, now we're here at PS9. A lot of artists, great artists pass through here, and I'm honored to be one of them. This is my piece right here behind, which I selected science, and made it look like a skyline, like a New York City skyline.
P, you wait for forward. P, you wait for down. Do the buddy hop, 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 hop.
I'm Lexi Bella. I reside in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a New York street artist and fine artist.
What got you interested in street art?
It started, I got my graduate degree in painting from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and I did a lot of live painting, and during the time I also, I had done some aerosol work, if you want to call it that, where I was like tagging, because my father actually worked for Krylon, but I saw it as two separate things. And then when I moved to New York and I was doing some art battles, I really discovered I could combine the two.
When you were thinking about the process of what you were going to paint, you wanted education, but
Right.
also something fun. So
Right.
you chose the process of life, eggs to
Right, and the process of a frog, the amphibian, evolution. She matches. So I also thought about what I'm interested in. I really wanted to study the color green because I don't use it that much. And I also really like things that are shiny and bubbles. And then I feel like this is something that was fascinating to me when I was like 7 or 8. This kind of like weird process of, going from life in the water to land. So I decided to explore that in the mural, but also make it something really dynamic, splashy,
Yes.
something fun that they would want to like go up and touch, you know.
Well,
and
I love the fact that you incorporated painting onto the actual floor.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just...
I felt like it makes it come into like where they are. So if they want to, they can like, and also like base, you know, like thinking about like it's a playground, so like this is base, but also that it really envelops the space.
Well, hibiscus is one of my favorite flowers.
Yeah,
And,
the hibiscus, the tropical flower. Danielle and I have always liked to paint hibiscus. Also, I was thinking about like pink and green because they're complementary colors. And then, so I knew I wanted to paint that. And then when Danielle and I were painting this, you know, we've painted together for, I want to say 8 years maybe, and have been friends. So she really wanted to do an iguana. And so then I thought, okay, what would go with that? And I'm like, a chameleon. It would be cool to have these two different guys that are friends.
Yes.
You know, it just kind of like really happened really organically. So then the frogs got in and we started to play. We had a lot of fun painting the iguana and the chameleon, but it was missing something. The flowers weren't cutting it.
Yep.
And so then one day I was here, I was annoyed at the frogs.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
You were just like, let me bang out a face.
Yeah, and I said to you, I was like, what do you think about this? And you were like, I love it, go with
2 hours
it.
later, we have a masterpiece.
Right, and it also, I feel like it really married the whole like
does.
playground concept, because it's like,
these two facing each other, and here she is. It's
And-
almost like Jungle Book was mixed
that's
with-
what, exactly, like the Jungle Book. And like, these are her pets.
Yes.
And also, having a child in a painting always, or just like a movie or a play, it makes the kids feel like they're a part of it. They're like,
Totally draws
oh,
them in.
exactly. Like
it's their world.
It's their world, and there's another kid here, and like they can play. So,
But I mean, just the shading and the shadows are amazing.
thank you. Yeah, I feel like she's really, and she embodies this whole concept of play.
And then
You know.
Danielle's piece, I mean, just marries the two.
Yeah, and it really works as these, and you can tell these two guys, there's so much character where like, you know, they're looking to her, like she's the queen of the playground.
Exactly.
You know, so
This was never going to be painted, and then when
yeah.
Danielle
Do you
came
like
in-
it? Yeah?
Yeah, all the kids like them. That's the reason our entire school is painted with them. Because after all, the first was there was this girl who had cancer and she died from it, and then they painted murals over there in her honor. And then so many kids liked it in the school that they asked for more. So then over summer, they painted the entire school, including our handball court, and all the walls along the entire school. But as I said, every good piece of art, I think, is concealed. And there's also more. There's a really nice entrance right over there. Like right over there near our playground, like our play jungle. That entrance, they have really nice art. And behind the school, there's better art. I think they did it because to make the school look more funner, more real. Like it was actually a fun school that made it super fun. Like, for example, if the school was like all plain, then people wouldn't like want to go to that school. It wouldn't like be all colorful and bright. I think they used bright colors because to make the school happy. For example, like bright colors make happy people.
Yep, that's totally true.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Sean right here. I think these pieces of art kind of make really important messages, like where it says "protect your heart." It's really important.
Yeah, that's totally
And
true.
also, your future does start at the school, and it says it over there. But if you can put it all together, it looks as if, like, if you put it all together into just one mural on a simple piece of paper, it would look almost as if everything that's happening in the world.
It's called Fighting Cancer. There we go. You bad cancer, I got you. Okay, there you go.
Oh, you're gonna choke.
I want her to choke. You're gonna choke. You're gonna choke. Hey, hey, hey. Oh my god. Chew. Don't puke. Delicious, right? Best broccoli ever? It might be.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is your girl, Myztico. I got started in art when I was around 5 years old. I had a teacher, a substitute teacher come, and he looked just like Superman, the old school Superman. And he came up to me and he's like, wow, you're an amazing artist. So since then I was like, you know what? Superman told me I'm an artist and I'm gonna keep going at it. And then my mother saw my portfolio and actually proceeded into adding me into specific private schools with art and programs and things like that to enhance my ability. So when my mother found out about my talent, she actually put me into private schools and extra curriculums that will enhance my ability as an artist. During college, I went on a trip with my family to Orlando, Florida, and we stopped by Pop-Up Gallery, and I saw so many different artists there with different styles, and then there's this one specific artist that I admired once I saw his artwork, and he has his own character, which I was like, you know what, why don't I create my own character, right? Like what it is now, after so many years seeing the evolution of my character, I think I did what I was purposely wanted to do when I saw his work. And then after a while, I constantly mentioned him in articles and blogs, and he actually reached out to me and wanted a piece from me. So that really was like, oh my God, dreams really come true. Somebody that influenced me in the beginning is reaching out for a piece that I have and I created, and now he has one in his collection. So I think that's pretty cool.
How do you find it being a female artist in the
I think in the beginning it was hard for me. I know finding a wall space, it was really hard. A lot of people are like, oh, have you done stuff before? And I'm like, no, I'm just getting started. I even send them photos of the things that I've done, not on walls, but like on paper, on paintings and stuff like that. And they would say, well, I need you to get a wall illegally and show me what you can do. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't, especially where I live in Long Island, it's really hard to even get a wall space, that's vandalizing. So it was a lot of times I got rejected. And then I had a couple of people that actually gave me the opportunity to show them. And then after that, a lot of people, the people that rejected me in the beginning, contacted me and asked me, oh yeah, you know what, you can do a wall. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Because you should give everybody an opportunity, even if it's just for a month. Because I know a lot of the programs do like monthly walls, some do permanent walls. And I feel like you should give everybody an opportunity, even though, I feel like there is no right or wrong in art. Art is somebody's imagination, somebody's feeling. So I don't think they should be rejected just because, they're not known.
What's up? I'm Turtle Caps, a native New Yorker, and I represent Queens.
How did you get interested in art?
It really spawned out of writing graffiti. When I was about 16 years old, I linked up with some real deal graffiti writers, and it just went from there. I never imagined where it could go to. It was really just about the graffiti and hanging out with my friends and painting spots, but years later, here we are, and now I'm Turtle Caps in a whole nother world. So Turtle Caps is 9 years old at this point. I started him around 2010, and it was pretty much spawned out of a joke, to be honest. It was a curious thing to me, street art in 2010, being a graffiti writer all those years. I never really even paid attention to it. And then I saw a couple people, years later making money that were formerly graffiti writers, and I thought to myself, wow, maybe there is a career in art. And I sold my business out of nowhere and just jumped right into it, and luckily it worked out. I'm one of the lucky ones because art's so hit or miss that you never know. I've seen people work for 40 years on their art and still never make it anywhere. So I feel lucky to have made the strides I have. And I think it just comes out of doing it out of passion instead of for the wrong reasons, you know? I just do it because I love it. And when you do things from the heart, they seem to work out for the best.
And you were friends with Clara, right? You all knew her? Yeah.
So it was nice to be part of the dedication to her and do something positive. And through that, it really just spawned and took off. And now before you, what you see is what the result of that. So, no, man, thank you. You know, you do a lot for everybody, and a lot of times people don't realize how much hard work it is, and all the hours and organizing and staying up late and dedicating your time to come down here just to be around while people paint. That's a yeah. No, I mean, you know, the results show though. You know, there's you should be really proud of what you did here and everybody that contributed. Definitely. You know, that's part of why I did this sort of themery too, to save the ocean theme, talk about sea life conservation and bring it up as a topic, because there's so much trash and waste and pollution going into our oceans. And, you know, I don't know how many pictures I've seen of sea turtles with straws stuck in them or wrapped up in net and things. And people don't really realize the importance of conservation of the oceans and the water. But maybe every year that I go along and I do more and more, that I'll raise some awareness for it and people will wisen up, because we only have one planet.
Husky! Been doing my art thing for about 20 years. My style's been influenced by the things that come before, so I was really into the graffiti thing and pretty much ran my life. So whether I'm drawing a dress or just a human figure, that graffiti aspect, those sharp, aggressive lines, they're gonna be in there no matter what. So I'm really just taking it to the fullest extent that it'll go. I like doing paintings of art and dances art. So it started off with painting the instruments I knew, you know, paintbrushes, spray cans, and then just what other famous painters have done. But art doesn't stop at the paintbrush, it doesn't stop at visual. It goes in all sorts of directions. By painting dancers, I'm really capturing the art of, you know, body movements. And nature itself it already does the art for you. So human bodies, female bodies, the Greek statues, they were clearly obsessed with this stuff, and there's something to it. So what I try to tell people is street art, it's not about even what you're doing, it's what you're doing it with. I think it's really a materials-based thing, more so. Like, you're doing street art inside buildings, it's not on the street, so how is it street art? I think it's the materials and the methods you're doing it with. I chose this wall because it was the tallest wall. It's not an ego thing, I just need something big enough to use the paint roller in that way. You know, I started with spray cans and then I learned traditional painting methods. Let me do those traditional painting methods with the tools that I started with, and that is intrinsic to the art itself. It makes it more authentic and people really respond to it. I should just do like a whole bunch of videos of me rolling the stuff in, because people seem to not get enough of it. I'd say as a kid I was more like architecture based. Didn't really know much about art or artists or painting, but when I saw graffiti as a kid, as a teenager should I say, when I saw it, I just knew there was something about it that just checked all my boxes, and I just had to do it. And I've just been doing that kind of stuff ever since.
So what I wanted to go for with this piece was celebrating diversity, but also interconnecting it with nature elements. And I just wanted something to be bright and fun, and I hope that's what I went for, yeah.
My name is Justin Winslow. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, but I live locally here in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn.
When did you get into art?
I've been into art since I can remember, holding the crayon.
What's your job now? How do you pay the bills with art?
I have a graphic design job in the city, full-time, but I do a lot of painting on the side, street art, illustration, different projects. You know, I got involved with this project through Jeff Beler, who asked me to paint at a school for a girl who had passed away. I didn't know this little girl, but as I got involved with the project and with the people and the children, it really became a very amazing experience. When I heard about Clara and I heard about what she liked and you know, the subject matter that she was into, I thought this would be kind of a nice, cute addition to the school. When I first started working on this project, I personally love cats and I love rainbows and subject matter. And a parent, when I was working on this project, pointed out that there's an old story about a rainbow bridge that pets who have passed away cross to get to a special field in heaven where they wait for their owners to greet them when they pass away. And I thought that added so much special meaning to the garden project too. So I thought that was really lovely. This whole project's just been so amazing. And you know, in the year of 2018, when so much has been going wrong in our country and when so many children across the world and in the southern part of our country are being abused and detained, I feel like this was a really positive project to work on, to kind of give back to kids. You know, if I can't necessarily go and take care of kids at the border, but maybe I can do something for kids locally.
Don't love Kira Zazagu. Oh yeah, I'm having seacars. I'm having seacars.
Remember that slow-mo? Remember the slow-mo one you can do?
Really, stop.
My name is Mary Catherine Medlock, and I make my art under the name Love MKM. It means from Mary Catherine Medlock with love. And I was born and raised in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and now I live in Brooklyn. I've been interested in art since I was a child. I was enrolled in a private art school as a child because I went to a public school where art wasn't offered. So I actually went to an art school where I learned multiple mediums. I learned how to work with clay on a wheel, how to paint, how to weave in a loom. So it's just always been a part of me.
So what was your experience with PS9 this past summer?
It was amazing. I had so much fun. I painted this whole mural with just one paintbrush, which was like not the technique that every muralist uses, but for me, I wanted to treat it just like a canvas, and I went to work. For me, I loved coming here like in the evenings and just getting my paints and getting set up and just being in the garden and the neighborhood noises, and it was just an amazing experience to connect with this community and with the other artists. So on the way over here, I was thinking about like what love yourself could mean for a child, because I know it's 2019 now, and self-love, like these things are in the world, but when we were kids, this wasn't even a thing. So I was thinking that I would hope that this message of love yourself would inspire a child to pick themselves up with like dignity when they get embarrassed or they say something that's wrong, because like I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. I'd be like, I'm so embarrassed, that was so wrong. So maybe like love yourself can inspire them to just be like, okay, yay, I'm still awesome. Or self-love to a child could mean to report a bully or stand up to a bully, and those are some of the things that I was thinking that self-love could mean for a child. And also all of these children have parents, and what a great message for them too, because really adults, this is a really applicable message for grown-ups. And that's part of my mission in this world, not only through like the message of the street art, which is really obvious, but my message to the world is about love, and it's self-love, and it's about the courage and the tenacity to really be yourself, and even if that's not the status quo.
Do it again. Go dance.
She loved school and she loved life to the fullest. There was nothing more she loved more than being in school. I mean, she embraced everything. She was like the first one at the carpet when it was time to learn. She sang songs every single morning with us. She was dancing, and she enjoyed kindergarten to its fullest. And I will never forget that little girl. She had such a strong impact on my life. I mean, she would stay with me after school sometimes. She would stay with me during lunch. And she would just talk and talk and talk. She was so sweet. She was such an incredible little soul. And I feel lucky and blessed to have called her my student, and I'm glad that I have her in my heart forever, because I know when I walk through these doors, I feel her presence. I walk in my room and I feel her presence. I have her picture there, and I have things that she's made me, and she's always around. I mean, Christmas Eve, I was thinking of her, and I was saying, oh my God, Clara, I can't believe she's gone. And I went to bed that night thinking of her. When I looked down, there was something sticking out from under my nightstand, and when I pulled it out, it was something that she had made me before that would just like randomly showed up. So I knew that it was a sign for her to let me know that she was okay, and that she was with me. So I just want to say how grateful I am to have known Clara and to have been their teacher.
She Miss Yellow was her best friend. She said it all the time. She spent more time with her in kindergarten than anyone else.
One of the things that I think is pretty apparent when you see the murals, that perhaps her favorite thing in the world were rainbows. And I'm wearing my token rainbow earrings that were a gift from a friend of mine after she passed away. And so I think when we first started talking to Jeff, and when he asked us, what kinds of things did she like, what did she like to do, we had rainbows came to mind very quickly, and so we're so happy to see so much color, of course, and animals, of course, as well too. But I think that whenever we see a rainbow, we think of her. We know she's there. When we walk by the school, the rainbows are a memory of her. So.
Yeah, she definitely loved animals and rainbows and just was full of energy, and I think she would have loved the process and the painting. That was great to have. It was a wonderful thing to have the kids participate in murals. I think that meant a lot to everyone, and yeah. So we come from this very regimented, regulated world of architecture, and And so we kind of started to do that and asking Ms. D'Avilar permission, and we will get a presentation to you and get a mock-up of what we're going to do. And she, at a certain point, she was just like, you can do whatever you want. We have tons of space. Any help to the school that would bring color and energy and whatever would be great. Don't even worry about it. And then met with you out and she out there, Jeff, and we were talking about Clara's area and where we could do that. And then she's like, and you could just do the whole side of the school, and then we could just keep going. So it's very like eye-opening of like, wow. So Jeff could just paint the whole school, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, we were so grateful. I mean, I think, we were feeling so grateful for the small piece that was going to be done. And in our minds, we were looking for a little bit of paint, and there'd be a few artists. And then as it grew, I thought, oh my goodness, this is so much dedication. And I'm so happy when the PTO got involved and was able to help supplement some of all that work. Because I think that's exactly the point, is that while all of this is such a wonderful initiative, I feel that at a certain point, this is the kind of thing that our cities, our communities should also be paying for, and paying artists, paying for the materials. And so I, as someone who's a designer, knows that sometimes you have to do things at first as a contribution, but ultimately this is something that I hope the city, and I think it is, hopefully, I think this is what Clara would want, is an asset, and as an asset needs to be properly funded and should be. And so that also made us so happy when the PTO stepped up and was like, we have some funds for some of this. And
once they can see the potential of what it can be, that's the thing.
No, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work, and it's emotional, and it's. I think that's also something that I hope people understand, that when artists are doing this kind of work, it's emotional. They're bringing their life, their being into it, as well on top of it, what the school means, and the teachers here and the students. And then there's this little piece, which was Clara, that started it all off. And so I don't know that people they see these cute little pictures, but they're not just cute little pictures. It's really, there's a lot more behind all that that's quite emotional. So that's
also my favorite thing about the murals, is just that there was such a diversity of artists there, that everyone who mentions, who comes by and is like, oh, I went by PS9 or whatever, and they'll always pick out their favorite thing. It's like their favorite character, or their favorite little motif, or I don't know how you would describe them, but their panel, oh, I love that one, and like everyone has their own little thing. That's the power of it, rather than having 2 or 3 artists that you worked with to do the whole school, and it kind of can't help but become a little bit monotonous or repetitive, or the same stylings or whatever. That's the best part about it, I think, is just the diversity, and it enhances all of that energy, I think.
Your parents were both for Clara, yes?
Yeah. My dad's he's retired, but he writes children's books, and first couple books he wrote with my older daughter that are mysteries. And then when Clara got sick, he wrote that book with her. It was published right before she passed away. So
it was all about basically the cancer process, like the idea of kind of taking the fear out of of what cancer is, for both friends of kids who get cancer, but also for the kid themselves, to understand the process and the doctors and not obviously technical, but just to kind of bravery. This is what we're going to do. This is kind of walk them through the process through a character, so that they can better understand and not be as scared of what's to come potentially.
Well, it was about Super Clara. She really did think she was Super Clara. By the way, she has about 10 different Supergirl outfits that she wore all the time. And so, it was about bravery, really. The book's about bravery.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. But she was fine for years, you had said, and then just kind of she had
Yeah. She was diagnosed in March of 2016. And they were able to operate immediately. The whole process was very efficient and very professional and quite incredible.
Went back to school like 4 days later, I think, or something insane.
Actually brain surgery is quite simple. Not really for the surgeon, but in terms of recovery, there's no nerve cells, so there's no pain. And so they were able to actually get they got what's called a full resection of the tumor. And then she was back at school. At that time, she was at a different school. She wasn't even preschool, kindergarten yet. And so she, that was March 2016, and she went until almost a year and without it coming back. And so every 3 months she'd have, first I should say she did 6 months, she did how many days in a row? 32 days in a row of radiation, where she had to wear a mask and sit in a room and not move on a table by herself with beams of light coming at her, and she did it without anesthesia. It was quite incredible for someone her age. She thought the mask was like a superhero mask. And then at the same time, she was starting her first 2 months of everyday chemo. And so that was intense, but she got out of it, and her children usually do quite well to chemotherapy, unlike adults who have a lot of problems. And then after that, she would then, every 3 months, we'd go back for MRIs, and they were clear, and they were clear, and they were clear, and they weren't so clear anymore. And it went at that point, that was a year, and they gave her 6 weeks, and she gave us 6 more months, so.
Good morning, PS9. This is Miss Sandra D'Avilar with a few words of wisdom. So at this time, I need you to stop whatever you're doing, sit up nicely, straighten up your backs, and become active listeners. So today, our focus is doing one's best. So boys and girls, how many of you have heard of world-class golfer Nancy Lopez? When she first started playing golf, many people didn't like her because she was Hispanic. Soon people began to notice her hard work and positive attitude. She became a big winner at a young age. Here's what she says about winning. And she once said, "You can't win all the time. As long as you are doing the best you can, that's important." So boys and girls, as you can see, that's good advice. And today we want you to ask yourselves this: am I doing my best? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you'll wind up a winner. So with something to think about today, this is Miss Sandra D'Avilar. Let's all make this a great, great day for learning and sharing and doing one's best. Or not. The choice is yours. And all of you kindly say it along with me. But always remember, the choices you make today shape your world tomorrow.
I was so honored when Jeff asked me to be part of this project because it's something that's going to impact people, children, adults, teachers for years. And to be able to come here and put a little bit of my soul onto the wall was such an honor, and I am excited for the feedback that I have received for what I've written. Yeah, I had a message to me on Facebook where a previous student reached out and was pretty much saying, oh my gosh, like even though I don't go to school there, it's been years and years since I've gone to school there, just having those words on the walls made me feel better, because I was in a point where I was doubting myself, and just to be like, you are enough, and having that reminder. And they said that this is something that they wish had been here when they were going to school here, and they're excited that it's going to be here for generations to see it, knowing that it's going to be helpful.
So why did you choose the color yellow?
Well, in the beginning, when I was growing up, like a lot of little girls, I loved pink. I had a pink bedroom with my New Kids on the Block poster that I was extremely proud of. But as I grew older and when I was in university, that's when yellow really became latched in part of my heart and my soul. I look to yellow as something that represents happiness and joy, and I identify with it and look at it as being very authentic to who I am. So I picked the name My Life in Yellow because it is me living my life as I am meant to live, authentically and true to myself. Hi. Oh, it's a little note. It says, I like your art.
See, that's why I do this, because it impacts people, and hopefully it's something that they will remember years from now. So it's like even when they're no longer in the school, they will have that moment where if they're feeling a little low, they can just be like, I remember these words when I was growing up and they always made me feel a certain way, and to not forget that we are all enough, and we just have to continue to keep living life knowing that we are good enough, we are enough, and that we are loved.
Hi, my name is Bob Martin, and I'm proud to say that I am Clara's grandfather. And although Clara is not with us, sadly, anymore, I will certainly always be her grandfather. And it was about 3 years ago that we learned that Clara had a glioblastoma, which is terminal cancer. And it was on that day that I started committing every hour of the day that I was awake to searching for a cure to this glioblastoma. And within months, I discovered that there really wasn't any. But I did uncover some things that were concerning about our approach to pediatric cancer. First and foremost is that, and you'll be surprised to know, that we do not have a national database for pediatric cancer. That means that what we learn in one institution, we don't share with another institution. The profile of a child that's been struck by cancer only rests in that institution. It doesn't exist in another database. If we had a database that had all the information that we knew about cancer and the medical records of every child that had cancer and all the possible treatments, whether those be pharmaceutical treatments or alternative medicines like vitamin therapy or Eastern medicine, we would have a much better chance of discovery, particularly with the power of artificial intelligence. Now think about it. Our country spends billions of dollars on databases for finding out and attacking terrorist cells. Well, I've got to tell you, cancer cells are terrorist cells. And unless we build a database that allows the great minds that we have in our country that do the research to have access to all of that information, we won't be successful in killing those cancer cells. More importantly, our terrorist activities, because of these databases, we're able to identify terrorist cells before they can even attack. Can you imagine if we had that capability for children, that we were able to preempt the cancer cells so they were never able to do harm? Now, Clara, which is really what this is about, is very special. And her story and her courage has touched so many. And as my son-in-law said, as hard as this was, she planted the seed for so many more things to happen. I'm now working with Ned Sharpless, who's the director of the National Cancer Institute, people at IBM, people at research centers, and they're all supportive of the need to build a national database to go after pediatric cancer. And I am so excited that the great artists that we have here in Brooklyn want to do the same thing. This is a movement that's going to cross the United States. We're going to get support from everyone. We're going to be banging on the doors of those in Congress to support what we now have as in the budget $50 million a year to fight cancer by building a national database. Again, I'm so happy to be Clara's grandfather. She inspires me every day. There isn't a day that I don't think about her, her smile, her sense of humor, but most of all, her courage. Many families get hit with hardships, and not all families are successful at coming to terms with it as ours. I am so thankful for my amazing daughter, Tricia, a wonderful husband, Winston, my other granddaughter, Kira, and my other daughter and their family. We're all very, very close, And it's that closeness and the support of people like Jeff and the other artists that have helped us get through this. So thank you for the opportunity to comment today on what's a very important initiative driven by the amazing artists of the Brooklyn community. Thank you. The murals are a good example of a community coming together, motivated and inspired by Clara's challenges and journey. The murals are wonderful. I mean, the spirit and the love behind each mural, the talent, the emotion that it captures. It's hard to look at the murals without shedding a tear, not so much of sadness, but of happiness and the thoughtfulness and caring of so many people in the artist community.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. You're welcome. Clara's gonna stay alive forever. She's in our hearts.
I'm sorry.
No, I cry all the time thinking about her.
And if you weren't holding that camera, I'd hug you too.
Hey, I'm Myztico Campo. I'm a visionary shamanic artist, raised in Hell's Kitchen, born in Cuba, living in Brooklyn. And so I was invited this past summer by Jeff Beler, the curator of the PS9 art mural project, to paint. And I love the idea, I love the concept of painting schools because of art budget cuts need art more than ever. And I love painting murals, and this is part of my mission here on Earth. So I decided to paint this piece behind me called Question Everything, and it's a piece that connects children worldwide to our indigenous roots and tribes from around the world. Indigenous tribes are under attack from corporations and other entities that are trying to steal their land, steal their mineral rights, steal their culture, appropriate their knowledge, etc. And it's time for us to honor these wisdom tribes around the world. And so one of the visions I had was these tribes connecting to their star ancestors. These star ancestors came from the skies thousands of years ago to download wisdom and knowledge to these tribes from around the world. And some of the tribes represented here are the Mali tribes of West Africa, the Shipibo tribes of South American rainforest, the Hopi Native American tribes, and elders from South America connecting to other tribes around the world. So if you notice that there's a spacecraft on my right, and it's downloading wisdom onto the pineal glands of each of the tribes, and then also into the pineal gland of the jaguar. That's like an animal spirit that's observing this scenario. So there's a lot of alchemical symbols, mathematical symbols that are being downloaded through the alien craft onto the tribes' third eyes. And so these symbols are power symbols that upgrade our human DNA, that expand our consciousness, that connects us with the plant spirits and teachers that are integral to indigenous tribes. So Question Everything is it's very timely. It's very important that we all question what's going on around us. How can we leave a better legacy on this planet? How we can all come together as a human family and unite to bring about the best versions of ourselves, the best versions of what humanity can be. There is too much confusion, too much division that's going on this planet, when we could all raise our awareness to come together and truly manifest a beautiful planet for all life on this spaceship Earth. It's time to do this, and so therefore we need to come together. And that's why I have all the zodiac symbols on the tree spirit, because we're all in this together. We're all part of the Star family. And I'm so grateful to be part of this project at PS9. I've been having a lot of great reaction and feedback from parents and teachers and kids to this particular piece, and I'm so honored to be part of this. So thank you so much.
Right now on Fox 5 News at 10.
Well, a feast for the eyes in Brooklyn.
That's right, how an entire school building's been transformed by artists from all over the world.
I like that. Imagine if we all had this. So when students at a Brooklyn elementary school need some inspiration, all they need to do is stare at the wall.
All right, Teresa Priello explains how the entire school building became a canvas for local artists.
Wow.
It's a feast for the eyes at PS9 in Prospect Heights. The entire school and several blocks surrounding it transformed by vibrant hues and messages of positivity from artists all over the world.
When I saw the actual work of the artist and how beautiful the artwork was, we decided that we would have him continue some of the artwork and take another part of the wall, and the artwork just kept going and going and going.
Jeff Beler is the curator of the mural. The idea started here in Clara's garden. Clara was a first grader at PS9 who died from an aggressive form of brain cancer.
Clara loved art, and she was a big part of the school, so it was a huge loss when she passed.
From there, word spread and the ideas poured in. In total, 71 artists have added their touch, and it's all in keeping with STEAM, not STEM, but science, technology, engineering, art, and math. It's amazing what a splash of paint can do. PS9 went from nondescript to a permanent art installation in the neighborhood. Does it look like your typical public school?
And it's not.
And why not?
Because PS9 is actually a beacon of all the schools in Brooklyn, and it is our goal to create a school environment where children love to skip to school and where they're happy.
And as for little Clara, Jeff believes she'd be in awe of what's happened at her beloved school.
For the process of painting, I mean, there was quiet moments and the sunbeams would come in, so I knew she was there. I mean, I really feel she's a part of me.
The murals have been such a hit. There's going to be a carnival this Saturday here at the school where people in the neighborhood can meet all of the artists responsible for this art. Reporting in Prospect Heights, Teresa Priello, Fox 5 News.
The grandparents created.
Yeah, I have this book.
Read this to your students.
Yeah, in the beginning of the school year, since we knew that they were going to create Clara's Garden, I read it to the children, and my kids made a big connection because they get to go outside. I told them there's a little table outside. You guys can go outside. You could do so many things outside because it's there. It's like the heart of the school now. We look at the mural and it makes us think of how fortunate our kids are and how lucky they are. And the love that we have for Clara is not going to go away. So Murphy and I always bring her up. She's like a little guardian angel, per se. We don't mention religion in school, but to me, she's like, you know, a little guardian angel because we got to love her so much. I actually have an anecdote that one time we went to her house and it was Halloween, the week before Halloween. And we don't do Halloween in school, but we were doing the literacy parade. And I asked her what she wanted me to be for the literacy parade. And she didn't have a clue at the time. And then I bumped into her sister, Kiara, in the hallway. And she's like, oh, Clara was thinking all about this. And she wanted you to be a bumblebee. So Miss Rice and I both dressed as a bumblebee that year in honor. Yeah. And her sister, I showed her the picture. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to let her know. And Mom came to the parade. And Mom saw me dressed as a bumblebee. So.
As you know, Clara's Garden started the whole movement of all the murals around the whole school. What has been your experience since the change?
Like every time I'm finding parking, I'm parked by the girl with the red dress. I'm parked by, that's my benchmark. And it makes me happy to see the school come alive with so many murals that mean so much. Like every day I try to think about technology. I'm thinking about different themes, and I love that the school was bright enough from being in bricks to being this colorful place where you can come and learn so much and be happy. And that's what schools should be. All schools should have murals. All schools should come to life. And I'm glad that through Clara, our school took that initiative to do that.
So as I was saying, it hit us
deeply with our children and considering the effects that that has on a family. And at the school level, it had a big impact. The teacher's very attached to her children, and that was also very emotional. Prior to that, we've seen the progression of Clara's situation. And when she walked through the stage, when we did our kindergarten stepping up, was amazing. So it was a little roller coaster ride for us. Once you guys came in and decided to begin this mural in her honor, that was amazing in itself. And it seems like even the garden flourished more after that. But then as it took off, it was just amazing, and I get goosebumps when I talk about it, because it's sort of brought us even closer together, closer to the community. We saw when you guys unveiled, and there were so many people here to see and to share with us. It's really touching to the core. So, and then just now with the mural all around the school, you can see the school like it seems like a mile away. And people talk about it, and they stop us in the street and they thank us for it, because it speaks of what we want the school to be, the STEAM school. So it has the science and the arts, and you guys somehow, when everyone's thoughts and ideas, the different artists that came, it's just like their piece kind of just fit in like a perfect puzzle. So for me, it's amazing to see, breathtaking. Some of it's great. So.
My name is Rob Plater, aka Timo, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York, East New York, to be exact. How did I get started? Since I was a kid, I was always drawing. Super inspired by my Saturday morning cartoons, action figures, comic books. Especially walking around New York, there were a lot of graffiti murals I used to get to indulge in. So it was just this constant process of like looking at this stuff, absorbing it, trying to copy it, and over time it became an obsession. I thought there were a lot of similarities between elephants and human beings, as far as like our capacity to learn. They're social animals, and just kind of like they have great memory, things like that. And also kids love them. I know when I was a kid, that was like my favorite thing to see at the zoo. So I thought it was something the kids here and other people would respond to. E equals MC squared, it's physics based, but it's kind of like a little bit of math and science. So it's just, I for whatever reason, I found a way to tie that into elephants. It's like a large animal, The first thing I think about when I look at them is like gravity. And also I wanted to play around with the idea of an animal that big, kind of having a balance and gracefulness to it. It was a great experience, just coming out, a lot of enthusiasm from Jeff, other artists involved. I guess a lot of times being an artist, we're always rushing in and out of shows. You don't get to talk to people. I felt like this was very lax. I got to meet up with some friends and discuss and everything from technique, down to some art politics. It was fantastic.
International artists responded to your call. PS9 is now covered with your magic colors, traveling. Super emotions unfold, creating a butterfly.
I love you, everyone.
All right, bye.